Hey Craftsie, you won't believe how easy it is to create your own little pot plant, or in other words, a desk pet. So I just have one question before we start. Which one of these do you think I make in this video? A or B? Let me know in the comments below.
Tools and materials needed: crazy craft clay, newspaper, plastic pot, water, paintbrush, and then clay tools. It's the first time I'm doing clay creations, and this was my first attempt at making pot plants, and this was my second attempt. So it's succulents with some flowers on them. Now these aren't realistic plants, okay? These are more like my imagination taking over. So first thing that I did is just took off the little price tag at the bottom of this little plastic pot, which I'll be using to fill up with clay. Now the clay I'm using is Crazy Craft clay, and it's around 21 Rand at Dubai. Now I'm using this. When it dries, it basically is like a rubbery feel to it when it dries, so it's quite cool. Now I'm just filling up with newspaper because we're not going to use the whole, we're not going to fill it up with clay, just entirely. My inspiration for today's video is from Creations Delight, who created these beautiful succulent pot plants. Now this is so beautiful, and I'm going to try and attempt to create my own. And now that it is reasonably filled with newspaper, I'm going to take some white clay, make some little balls, and then we're going to create the little stones that will be covering the surface of the pot plants. For the clay to stick to the newspaper, I made sure to spray it down with some water to just make sure that the surface is wet so that the clay can just, stick to it. Now that the little pebbles are done, I'm going to take some green and we're going to create a little succulent. Now, I'm just letting my creativity take over at this point. I'm not sure what I'm going to create while I'm creating it, but I am just letting my imagination take over. Oh, cute swirly cactus. Okay, so now I'm going to start with another little planty, and this is going to be one with little long leaves, which I'm going to try and attempt to make. Yeah, you'll just see me try. So I thought that this had this little succulent with the four leaves had something missing. So I was just making little balls to represent maybe a little thorn in some way, because succulents, cactuses are in general have these pointy, prickly things you can't really touch. So I made this so that this is the orange part, and I placed it strategically so that when you do have this little plant, other animals won't really touch your pot, because this plant is like repellent for pets to eat it, because they won't eat it because it is full of these orange dots, which are prickles, which can hurt you when you touch it. I'm having so much fun with this one, because it's just a prickly plant with orange stems. So yeah, I decided to just add another one, just missing, that extra touch. So I'm gonna make a little 3-stemmed plant with some twirly leaves, and I thought that this is a cute idea because I think going in with the yellow, it's such a contrast to the other colors in this one, and I think it's gonna add some detail to it. So it's going to be great, and I think this would be one of those plants, like almost like a carnivore plant which eats insects. It kind of has the sticky surface, so this is a very strange combination of plants. This is a succulent that Creations Delight created, and I'm going to try and replicate it with a pink color. So because it's my first time creating all of these things, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on myself. And I just want to let you know, if you want to create something and you get inspiration from an artist, from someone who's been doing something for a very long time, don't get discouraged if yours don't, look the same, or if it doesn't look as you wanted it to look. Because like she also told me, this is practice, and practice makes perfect. This is the third succulent I'm creating, and I kind of feel like the second one was my favorite. So I will show you at the end what all of them look like together. But this is definitely a process, and it's hard working with these fine details. I mean, mine looks chunkier, hers looks more finer details and things like that. So it is just a matter of practice, and practice. If you want to create something, practice. It doesn't look too bad. I actually liked how it turned out. It's not as close, but I'm happy with it. Remember my question in the beginning of the video? So if you guessed that I made B, you were absolutely correct. So these are the 3 succulents I made. What do you think?